All right, guys, welcome back to Freestyle Friday. Mikki Campbell here. Thank you again for stopping by my show. Glad to have y'all. And as I've told y'all before, I'm going to be having some people come on this show and talk with me about some times of the past. And I couldn't think of anybody better to start this off with than my old compadre, mi amigo, me boy, lifetime best friend, Rikki Regal.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome, Rikki Regal, to the show. For those of you that have been following the show and don't know much about our past, Rikki and I, we've been best friends. We started probably about 12, 13 years old. I know by the ninth grade, we have become, in our mind, pro wrestlers together. And had lifelong dreams of being that. I told you how we got started into the wrestling industry. I told you a little bit about that. So I won't bore you going back through all that. But for those of you guys that don't know, without need of any introduction, this is Rikki Regal, and we're going to talk today about a few things and get with y'all, and then we'll get back with y'all on a later date. But before we get started, Rikki and I were talking off camera. This past week, the wrestling community suffered 3 losses. Panhead Nelson, Tommy Sawyer, and Big Smash. And
Big Slam.
Big Slam, I'm sorry. And Rikki and I didn't know Big Slam that well. But we did know Panhead Nelson, and we met Panhead way early in our career, back probably 1990. Panhead had been doing it for quite a while, and then the SWA, or was it SWA, SAW? I saw online, Georgia Wrestling Promotion had a tribute show for Panhead this past weekend, and at that show, his longtime tag team partner Tommy Sawyer collapsed and passed away at the show, at the tribute show. So our thoughts and prayers are with all 3 of those families and friends and everybody impacted by those losses. God bless you all, and we'll continue to pray for you. And I know Panhead well enough to know that he'd want the party to keep on partying. So
absolutely. Can I tell one little quick thing about Panhead before we get into our thing?
Definitely.
Yeah, what was their, and forgive me, what was their tag name? Him and the little short guy. What they
were? I was trying to think of it the other day, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm correct on this. I think it was the Road Hogs.
The Road Hogs.
A play off of the Hog, Harley Davidson Hog. They ran like a biker gimmick.
Yeah. You would have never thought outside of wrestling that they were wrestlers. I mean, they look like bikers. They look like just your ordinary, everyday redneck biker guy. But I tell you, they did. But I tell you something, man. Those guys were fantastic workers. I mean, they were absolutely on point every time, and we had fun every time we wrestled with those guys.
Had a blast. And the thing about them is they both were not only fantastic wrestlers.
Yeah,
they had a respect for the business.
Yeah,
they respected the locker room. They respected the other workers, and they had respect for themselves.
And funny. I mean, Panhead would have you rolling on the floor laughing.
Panhead was one of those guys that could just look at you and make you laugh.
Yes. He was just a big old. If he looked like he would murder you just with a look. I mean, but he was the sweetest guy in the world, man. And he was such a great all around individual. Do anything in the world for you, and we really enjoyed working with those guys. I know we worked with them a lot in North Carolina with Holbrooks, and I think we worked for him some with Jim when he was doing television. Wesley's, right? I think.
Yeah, we did.
But R.I.P. to Panhead and his other partner Tommy. Man, I hate losing people, but R.I.P. to him. And we had a lot of fun with those guys through the years.
A lot of fun, great guys, man. Well, I've talked a lot about the Lightning Express on these Freestyle Fridays, how we got started, and kind of how we became the Lightning Express, and a lot of people have asked me how I came up with the name Mikki Free. Being Furman Campbell for 18 years and then going into the wrestling business, and the first announcer telling me we got to come up with something. And I said, well, my friends called me Stump, but we knew in order to become the Lightning Express, we had to become personality. So how did Mikki Free come to be, and Rikki Regal? Where do those names come from? Do you remember?
Absolutely, 100% do it. I remember like it was yesterday. I knew we needed to. We had both agreed that we needed to transfer out of the Lightning Express because we had done all we could do with the Lightning Express.
No. How did we become Mickey Free and Rikki Regal? Not the.
Oh, into the H.O.P.
Yeah.
As far as the two names, we needed to, because we did have funky names. I mean, y'all throw Punch on me as kind of a rib because of my schnoz.
Dude, that came from high school, but you carried it with so much respect and honor, bro. You became Punch, and then that left hand out the corner, baby. I mean, I think you should have kept it at least as a moniker.
Yeah, well, they ended because we thought when we were the Lightning Express, we were the Road Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
We, and we wanted like Hawk and Animal. Stump and Punch, right? Right. Those one syllable names, right?
Well, that was the Bruise Brothers. Actually, that was before the Lightning Express. It's when It's when Mickey Free and Rikki Regal came to be that we decided the Lightning Express was more the area that we needed to pursue. Yeah, because we realized that we wasn't the Road Warriors.
No, we were not the Road Warriors by any stretch of the imagination. We thought in our minds we were.
Yeah,
and so we needed to get names that would stick and that we could build off of, and so. I come up with I followed all this 80s R&B music and stuff like that, and I was a big fan of Prince and big fan of Shalimar and all those kind of groups like that. And Shalimar had a guitarist named Mickey Free, and he spelled his Mickie, I think, Free or whatever. Big old Indian guy, but just if you ever heard some of those old 80s songs, that was what you would think it would be. And so I love that name. I was like, God dang, that's just a cool name. And if you remember back then, man, everybody was trying to come up with the gimmick name. I remember sitting at Van Horn's house one day, and Buddy Landell, or no, Tommy Landell was trying to come up with a new name, and he was going to be Razor Sharp. You remember that?
Right.
And but you spell it like RAZYR, and you do the R with a like a lightning bolt, and Razor Sharp was it. So I was like.
But then Eric took that.
Yeah. So we need to come up with our own personalities and our own names instead of these one name deals. And so and I like Nelson Royal. Nelson Royal's, if any of your old school guys will remember Nelson Royal. Everybody thought I took Rikki Regal from Steven Regal, but at the time Steven Regal wasn't active when we changed our names. Right. He wasn't here. He was in doing his thing in London and England and around the world, but he hadn't gotten big in America yet.
Right.
And so Nelson Royal was still on TV at the time, and I always thought Royal, that's kind of a cool name. So as a play off Nelson Royal, I said, well, Royal Regal. And I was like, Rikki Regal, let's Regal and Free, that sounds cool together. We need first names. And as we were doing the tag gimmick, I figured, well, maybe we'll put our first names kind of similar, Rikki and Mikki.
Right.
Rikki Regal, Mickey Free. And I pitched it. I remember we were going out on a road in the town we grew up in, a little old back road. We used to call it beer drinking territory. And we may have not been driving, I don't know, probably not. But we were out in beer drinking territory, and I pitched the names to you as we were going down the road. I said, hey, man, what do you think about Mickey Free and Rikki Regal? And what did you say immediately?
I said, dude, I love Mickey Free. Thanks, man.
And I was like, no. That's not, I want to be Mickey Free. I want to be Mickey Free.
But I think it turned out to be for the best. I think those names. I think Rikki Regal definitely fits you, and I feel like I encapsulated Mickey Free for a big majority of my life.
Brother, let me tell you something. Nobody on earth would have been able to wear that moniker other than the guitarist from Shalimar than you, because at that time in our lives, you were absolutely 100% Mickey Free. There was no other person who could have ever played that role than you. And so, yeah, you stole it from me, but it fits you, and it was right. It was the right steal.
But the funny part about this whole thing is me stealing it from you and you having stolen it from a guitarist of Shalimar.
Right.
I enjoyed. I'm a big Prince fan, and I like Shalimar's music, but I wasn't one of those guys that could tell you who anybody's guitarist name was.
Yeah.
So I had no idea until a couple of years ago. I'm on YouTube and I'm watching these videos. I like comedy. So this Dave Chappelle video pops up and he's talking about playing basketball against Prince, and then he brings up Mickey Free, and this guy comes on the camera. It's Dave Chappelle in costume. He goes on the camera and he's got this Jerry curl, big old head of hair, and I was like, dang, Rikki actually meant for me to be Mickey Free because at the time I was wearing that Jimmy Garvin perm and the curly hair.
You wouldn't. Those of you who don't know Mickey from back then in those days, he rocked the biggest, giantest, curly-headedest mullet you could ever imagine in your life. Honest to God, the top probably stood up to here, right? And the back came way down past his shoulders in the back, smooth on the sides, you know.
Wow.
It's just suave. My God, you're one suave man. But he rocked that. He rocked the Jimmy Garvin better than Jimmy Garvin, and we had a lot of fun with that back when we were doing the Lightning Express.
Well, I told a story about the Atlanta prison show when the promoter, we were working a promoter, and remember he pulled my hair at the end. We'd already put him over 3 times.
Yes. And
he pulled my hair at the end to get me back in the ring, and I cocked him.
the best part of that story, though, brother, that still makes me laugh to this day, is we were literally, and this is 100% legit, we were done. I mean, we had put him over all these times, and he kept wanting us to come back out because the prisoners were going buck wild. And you would have thought, and I thought, and you would think that in the prison the heels would be the most over people. No, we were so hated in that prison that I was legit kind of nervous. Yeah, and I mean we're surrounded by what, probably 300 or 400 prisoners
at least.
At least 300 or 400. and that was probably, and honest to God, that was probably the best crowd we've ever worked in front of, because they were in it from the start to the finish. But anyway, the funniest part of that whole thing is we're done. Like, it's over. We're in the back, legit getting dressed, and you had one boot on. I remember it like it was yesterday. You had one boot on, one boot off, and the guy, so the little runner comes to the back and says, "Bobby wants you for one more minute. Mickey, he wants you for 1 minute." And you looked at me, and I looked at you, and that look you gave me, I knew it was about to happen. I knew exactly what was about to happen. So me knowing what was about to happen, I ran back to the ring with you. Y'all, this is no joke. Mickey Free goes out to the ring with his trunks untied, one boot on, one boot, and one in a sock foot, and jumps in the ring, rares back to China, hits Bobby Holbrook as hard, I think, as you've ever hit anybody, and walked off like a man. Just walked away.
Look, all of a sudden we spun the crowd, baby.
You didn't say anything. You didn't make any comments. You just punched the dude out and walked off like a boss.
I was tired, man. I was tired.
And we didn't say a word. We just walked to the back, put on our gear, and went out, waited for the van for that ass chew, and it was about to come.
Scared to death we weren't going to get that first time guarantee.
Because we had to ride all the way back to South Carolina with the man you just punched out.
So the other thing people ask me is, where did the House of Pain come from? We were Lightning Express for a while, and I think we both got out of wrestling for a little bit.
Yeah.
We went into a couple of other ventures.
Yep.
And then we ended up back into wrestling, and we came back in repackaged, no longer with the tuxedo jackets and the bow ties and the
pink.
Yeah. They weren't pink, man. They were salmon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Salmon. My bad.
So then we came back as the House of Pain.
Yep.
And I was trying to think back to the exact story that happened at, and you and I were talking about it. And I think you remember a little bit better than I do. So
I remember that one like it was yesterday too. And we had done all we could do with the Lightning Express. We had really ran it as far as we could go with it. And we were getting a little bit older, and both of our body types had changed because we had both jumped into the gym hard. And when I first started, I remember Holbrook's. What did he compare me to? Baby Huey. Remember that?
Got that.
Holbrook's compared me to Baby Huey one time because because I was, like I am now, Snow White with no tan, and had this kind of a baby fat around my midsection. But we had, in the intervening years, we had gotten to the gym. We had started working out hard. We had gotten our bodies had completely transformed. I mean, I think for like about 10 minutes in those years, I had abs for once in my life, And of course, you've always been into bodybuilding and stuff, and so you've always been kind of swole. But we had both transformed a lot, and so I was like, it doesn't fit anymore for us to do this. And the times were changing in wrestling at that time. We had patterned the Lightning Express sort of after the Freebirds with Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin doing the kind of the quote-unquote CC gimmick type thing. we want to move away from that, kind of be more rough and tumble. And so we were sitting. I remember we were sitting in a bar because we used to do a lot of good thinking in bars back in them days. We did our best thinking sitting at over a pitcher or two of our favorite drink. And so I remember, man, we were sitting there and we were really studying on what we need a good name. We need a catchy name that'll really pop, you know. And so we couldn't think of nothing. For whatever reason, we couldn't think of anything. Because if you remember back in the old days, we'd come up with a babyface and a heel tag team name. We were the Lightning Express on one side, and our other name, the heel, was remember we had cards made up. Yeah, that. And so, but for some reason, we were just hitting the wall with coming up with a new name. And so we sit there and we had a few more beverages, and we talked to a few friends, and all of a sudden, over the music comes this song, and it was House of Pain by Faster Pussycat. And in that instant, as soon as that guy says "In My House of Pain," we looked at each other and knew immediately that's it. That's us.
That's it.
And it just fell into place, and there was no going back.
Right.
From that minute forward, man, we decided that that's who we were going to be. We changed our whole look. We went to the BDUs and the white butchers, and we changed our entire deal. And I remember we were talking about it. We said that we're not going to be baby faces. We're not going to be heels. We're going to be kind of just in between. And the thing that you used to say what made me laugh was, yeah, we're going to walk out from behind the curtain and just look at everybody like, we don't even want to be here.
Right?
We don't even want to be here.
Basically our entrance. I mean, we would walk out and throw our little thing up. Yeah. And then we just walk through the crowd like we really didn't even care if they liked us or didn't like us or whatever. Right?
Yeah, like we I remember we used to rock the Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Yeah, them fake bands.
Yeah, fake bands from the gas station down the street because we never could keep up with our sunglasses.
How many times did we stop on the way to shows to buy sunglasses? So
it was every time. Every time we would have to stop at some local convenience store and grab a $5 pair of doggone Ray-Bans because we never could keep up with our dad Jim sunglasses and fake bands. But I remember the very first time we debuted the H.O.P, man, I want to say it was in an armory in Greenwood. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think so.
The very first debut, the day we debuted the H.O.P, we went somewhere and got us some sweatshirts spray painted with the biohazard symbol, and Mikki on the back and Rikki on the back of mine. And I remember walking out the door, and we did exactly what you said. We just kind of walked out, looked around like we don't really want to be here, you know, got in the ring and tore the freaking house down. And we knew right then that, brother, we owned something here.
That's right.
We owned something.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we had some good times with that, man. We ran that for quite a while, and it was a lot of fun. We we ended up going a lot of places with that and doing a lot of fun stuff. But the thing that was funny to me was when some of the haters in the crowd would start a House of Pancakes chant, because the people that loved us would start H.O.P, H.O.P, and then the haters would say House of Pancakes. Yeah. And they thought they were like getting real heat from us as faces. We were the faces, but the smart marks in the crowd thought they were really getting under our skin, but they didn't know that we got off on that more than we did the H.O.P part. Like
1,000%.
If you're gonna think hard enough to try to insult us out loud in front of all these people, bring it on, baby. By the way, those 8x10s over there are $5, and
and what would they do? They would buy them.
They bought them. And we come out of intermission and sign them and do Polaroids for $5 more.
I know we're probably getting short on time here, but I want to tell one other real quick one on you. It wasn't long after we had debuted the H.O.P, and we went to do an autograph signing at a Walmart. I think it was either Walmart or Kmart for Holbrook's in Westminster. And this really right after we'd done the I think I'm right. Right after we'd done the H.O.P thing. So anyway, we're sitting there, and then we got a table set up. It was a nice little setup for him and for then. And he put us over like we were superstars, and because we were gaining some recognition, people were starting to follow us a little bit, and you got to remember too, this is back there was no internet, there was no Facebook, any social media stuff. So everything that we drew behind us was word of mouth and from performing, from actually going out there and doing it, right, and traveling and hitting those roads every weekend. And so he wanted us to come in and do a autograph session. It was us and a couple other local talent guys, and and we were sitting there signing the things, and the door swings open at Walmart, those sliding doors, and in walks this family who looked like they were out of the hills, straight up out of the hills, coveralls, no shirt, the whole thing. I don't even think they had on shoes. And without skipping, we were sitting there having a conversation, and without skipping a beat, Mikki looks over, sees them coming in, and says, "Hey, wrestling fans, come on over here, let me talk to you." And boy, I almost fell into the floor, dying laughing. I was like,
right.
and I think I even said, "How you know they wrestling fans?" He said, "Look at them."
Hey, but we got everything they brought to Walmart to spend that day, baby. They left with every gimmick we had.
Bread money, brother.
Every gimmick we had on the table, they took home with them that day. But real quick to polish that, you know where I got that from? Several years before that, we were doing an autograph signing at a similar location.
Yeah,
I think it was in North Carolina though, and Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant and Denny Cooley was there with us. And I sat there and watched Jimmy Valiant make about $400 or $500 at that table. Yeah. Every time somebody walked by, he would say, "Hey, Boogie fan, that's a Boogie fan. You're a Boogie fan." Yeah. And he was putting his arm around them and have Denny snap the Polaroid and slap that on their chest and tell them that's $5. Yep. Put his T-shirt on their shoulder and tell them how much. And he was just handing them stuff and then gave them like an invoice, like, "Okay, $35, brother. Y'all have a good day." And these people were so dumbfounded, they just like, "Okay," and paid it. So every time I did a gimmick table after that, man, I tried to go get it. You know, it was what it was. We was living off pork and beans and childhood dreams. So we had to make it how we could make it, right?
That was one of my favorite stories, man, at times, and remembering, and just and the way they lit up when you, "Hey, wrestling fans," and and I was like, "How you know they're wrestling fans?" And without hitting the beat, he's shaking hands and smiling. Mickey Free got that big old beautiful smile on his face. And out the corner of his mouth, he says, "Look at him." And I was done. The rest of the day, I was done, bro. That was such.
And it turned out he did fans. I think they showed up at the show that night and bought some more stuff than intermission, as a matter of fact.
Just fun stuff like that, bro. Just, fun stuff like that just does not happen anymore. And those are times I cherish, and I'm so glad that you started doing this so that we can reminisce and remember some of those times, man, because it's fun to look back at. It was, it wasn't all, fun and games. It was some rough parts that happened over the years, and some a lot of money that come out of both our pockets. But brother, I'm gonna tell you something. I wouldn't trade it for the world. We really had a good time, and those are memories that I will never forget. And I really enjoyed what you've been doing with these stories and telling some of these old stories, and it's really brought back a lot of fun memories, man. And I appreciate what you're doing, and it's awesome to see you talking about wrestling again. I wanted to tell you that is because for years, and I think you even mentioned it one of your shows, you kind of pushed it away and didn't want to have any part of it. And seeing you do this, man, has really inspired me, and I know it's inspiring a lot of people. And I'm just and I'm proud of everything you're doing, brother. And I miss you, and I really appreciate you having me on your show. And I hope we get to do it again soon.
Oh, definitely, man. We had about probably 10 to 15 years in wrestling, and we've had about 30 plus years in friendship. So we got plenty of stories that we can share. 100%. But real quick, you've moved on now into another career, and you were telling me off camera that you're doing a podcast now.
Yeah, and I am. In my real life, or shoot job is what they call it.
I didn't look up the terminology before I got on here.
Yeah, I'm smartening you up, kid. I'm gonna smarten you up, kid.
Do we still do that handshake or not?
No handshake. No handshake. Okay. That's Mark stuff. That's Mark.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, I'm doing my this show that you're doing, brother, has inspired me to. And I used to do a radio show back some years ago where it was kind of more news and current events and all that stuff. And and I got burnt out on doing it, and it just wasn't fun anymore. And then seeing you do these, I was like, that was the light bulb moment of that's what I should have been doing all along, is just telling stories and reminiscing, because that's entertaining. And like you, I don't write none of this stuff. I just tell it as I remember it, and it really brings back a lot of fun memories. But it's, if you go to Facebook and just punch in Blue Line, Behind the Blue Line, that's the name of my podcast. It's available all over all your outlets for podcast stuff. It's on Apple Tunes, but it's hosted at Spreaker, and that's Spreaker, Spreaker.com. And just look up Officer X, and you'll take you right to my page there. There's 3 of them up so far. I got a few in the can that's coming, and I'm gonna be doing more. But it's just like what you're doing, bro. It's just telling stories as you remember them, and you inspired me to do that, and thank you for that. And I'm remembering some good old stories over there that's making me laugh kind of too on that side of my life. Right. But if you're interested in the Rikki Regal stuff, I'm on Facebook at Rikki Regal on Facebook. Also Twitter, all social. Rikki Regal's there. If you want to go look at some of his stuff, he'll tell you some stories every now and then, and sometimes talk about other things. But Rikki Regal on Facebook, and the other stuff is Behind the Blue Line. So it's kind of two different sides of me there. But brother, thank you so much for having me on, man. I really enjoyed this. It's so fun to get up with you. Appreciate you. And I miss you, and I love you, and I hope we get to do this again really soon, bro.
We will, bro. And I'll be sure to put in the comments or in the description of this video, actually, and in the comments, I'll put the Behind the Blue Lines, Officer X, and your at Rikki Regal stuff to make sure everybody can find you as they need to.
Thank you, brother.
And just one more time, we'd like to go ahead and give another shout out to Panhead Nelson, Tommy Sawyer, and Big Slam. And our prayers again are with all their families. God bless you all. Thank you again for tuning into this show. If you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, tap that little bell too, so you make sure to get notifications every time I put something out. I try really hard to put out consistent content every week. On Tuesdays, you'll find my show, Transformation Talk Tuesdays, and on Fridays, Freestyle Friday. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks again, and God bless.
H.O.P for life.
Word.